At work, I just finished reading Unravel Me by Tahara Mafi, and I'm gonna give this book a 4 to 5 stars. There are a couple of things that I was not okay with, that I figured could be changed, but overall I thought it was actually a pretty great story and a great sequel to Shatter Me. Definitely a lot of character development for Juliet, a lot more in the sense of not discovering the world but discovering herself and becoming braver, and I really enjoyed that a lot. So yeah. It's freezing back here. I'm absolutely cold and I have to go work. Ugh. But Unravel Me I thought was fantastic, and but still have to give it 4 out of 5 stars. I love Warner, still love Warner. I like Adam a little more. Kenji is such an amazing character. Not what I expected at all from Kenji, but I definitely did love the book a lot. So I'm gonna get on to the review, and here we go. Hey guys, it's me Jessica, and today I'm doing a review for Unravel Me by Tahara Mafi. This is the second book in the Shatter Me, I don't want to say trilogy because she's extending it, but as of right now it is a trilogy. So let's get into this review. So if you haven't read Shatter Me is about a girl named Juliet who has the power to kill people when she touches them. And in the first book, it's very her discovering the world that she's now in, and I wouldn't really say herself very much, but just kind of the world around her. And this book is very much Juliet trying to figure out herself and how she's going to fit into the world. I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. There are some things I would have liked to change, or just I had like kind of expanded upon, and that's kind of how it goes. This book kind of starts off maybe a week or two after the events of the first book of Shatter Me, so I think it's like 2 weeks, just so you know. But I would recommend Shatter Me. Shatter Me is a great book. So I love the writing style. It's just so kind of, I don't want to say lyrical, but it's not very narrative. It's more of a kind of monologue, internal type of story, which isn't that bad. But I'm gonna go into spoilers now, so here we go. Spoilers. Alright, so Unravel Me. Let's talk about Unravel Me. I want to talk about Adam and Juliet's relationship first, because I have a few issues, and that is their lack of communication. Like, Adam wants to hide the fact that he has abilities, and that his abilities to ward off the effects of Juliet are kind of waning. He doesn't tell her that, and he tries to hide it until Juliet finally takes things into her own hands and has to go and find out herself. Now, this really made me mad, because I'm like, Adam, you really need to talk to Juliet. You need to talk about these issues. You need to talk about the things that are happening, because if you want to be with her, she needs to know what the heck is going on. And because Adam didn't tell her what was going on, she had the urge to kill Castle, and basically she put a hole in the floor, and I'm like, Adam, you could have like just. And then also Juliet has communication issues because she doesn't tell Adam a lot of stuff, and she keeps secrets from Adam, and I'm like, Juliet, if you want this relationship to work, you need to communicate. You need to tell Adam how you feel and how things are going and so on and so forth, and she doesn't. And it like makes me so very upset that she doesn't. I'm like, come on. What I find that Tahara Mafi does is that she doesn't know what to do with Adam. Like, she tried to give him, like, that's just how I feel. Like, I feel like she doesn't know what to do with Adam. Like, she starts off the book with maybe giving him this conflict of whether or not he can be with Juliet because he can't touch her and he's got this ability. But then she disregards him because Juliet breaks up with Adam, and we barely see anything of Adam afterwards. Like, Adam, like, starts off with having such a great kind of character development arc that could happen, but is just totally disregarded. And I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, why would you do that? But like, it just it really kind of threw me for a loop. I was like, why? Like, if Juliet is meant to be with Adam, if Juliet and Adam are endgame, then why aren't you developing Adam in the way that he should be developing, so the readers feel more sympathy and more endearment towards Adam? She doesn't do that. She does that with Warner though, because Warner we also find out he has an ability too where he can kind of absorb and use other people's abilities. And Warner just has so much great development because we meet his father, and his father really has an impact on who Warner is, or should I say Aaron, who Aaron is, and it's very, we get to see this kind of more wounded side of Warner, which I really loved and I thought it was so great. And it obviously was great for Juliet too, because Juliet's like, I can't hate you now because I see that you're not a monster but you're human. And I really like that conflict within her with Warner, and I just love how characters react in this book. I love especially how Juliet and Warner react together. I love those scenes where she's interrogating him. Those are like one of my favorite scenes. And I will also say one of my favorite scenes is when her and Warner are making out, because that scene, oh, one, because I really ship those characters so hard, but two, just because like it's such a great moment, especially when she says the wrong name. Like, she's just so caught up into herself, and then she takes a moment, she's like, oh crap, I still want to be with Adam. And then she says the wrong names, which makes me really upset. I was like, no, don't say the wrong name. Oh. And this book is definitely kind of an inner monologue story of Juliet, because when I think back at the book, this book looks pretty big. I believe it's bigger than the first book is. And I look back on it and I feel like not a lot happened in this book. I felt like a lot of stuff happened in Shatter Me and not a lot happened in Unravel Me. And I think that's because it was more of an inner monologue of Juliet trying to figure out where she belongs and who she is. And now a big part of that is, I feel like Kenji. Kenji is a very big part of her trying to find herself, because he's the person that's like, Juliet, you need to stop worrying about yourself and start looking around you and start making a difference, because you have this ability and I have an ability and I'm doing something with it and you're not. And she references so many times how Kenji is so important to Omega Point. And she just like, as much as a lot of people like love Kenji, and I don't know how I feel about Kenji like 100%. I feel like Kenji is very, he's not what I expected, and I don't know how I feel about that, honestly. I mean, I do like Kenji as a character. He's a very strong character, especially his ability too, because what I love about his ability and his personality is they kind of are opposites. Like, his personality is very outgoing, he can be very funny, but he can also be very serious at times. He's very focused. But then his ability is to be invisible, to be behind the scenes, when normally he's like in front. So I really find his ability and his personality like juxtaposition, and I love that so much. I really feel like it just adds something to him that I love. And I feel like also Juliet's ability and character also juxtaposition each other as well, which I think is just such an amazing thing to put in there. I don't know about Warner very much. I feel like Warner's abilities and personality do complement him very well, but I don't know if they're opposites, or like if they're opposites in a way. I don't really feel that. I feel like Adam's complement him very well because he's a very kind of defensive person, and so his defense is to block out someone else, to block out their abilities, and I feel like that complements Adam very well. I feel like if Adam had a different ability, say if he had Warner's ability to kind of take someone's ability and use it themselves, I feel like that would be very different for Adam. Okay, so can we talk about the Adam Warner brother, half-brother thing going on? I don't like it. I don't like when you have two main characters that have like different lifestyles and different things, and then they have the same parent and they're like half-brother and half-sister, or half-brother and half-brother, and I just like, I don't like that at all. Like, can we just get rid of that trope altogether? Like, I remember I was reading Gone by, I think it's Michael Scott, and I hate that book so much. I think it's the only book I've ever given like 0 stars to. And in like towards the end of the book, you realize that the bad guy and the main good guy are brothers, and I'm just like, this is stupid. Why would you do that? That's such a kind of throwaway plot twist or something. It just, I didn't like it. And I mean, though Adam's dad being Warner's dad, being the kind of the supreme leader, gives Adam more motivation to be in this fight and to be kind of in the book itself, because I feel like after they break up, he's just like disregarded and comes back every once in a while to be like, oh Juliet, I still love you. But I feel like Adam really needs to have a motivation to kill his father. I feel like that needs to be a motivation. Speaking of killing fathers, can we talk about the fact that like Juliet shot Warner's dad like in the knees, in the legs, and like crippled him? Like that was, I was reading that, I was like, oh man, and then she was gonna shoot him in the heart. Oh my goodness, that was so good. I love that scene so much, and how he thinks that she did it all on her own, that she didn't have any help, that Kenji and Adam weren't there. I love that. I mean, it even though like he won't underestimate Juliet again, and I'm talking about Anderson, even though he won't underestimate Juliet again, it's still such a great scene, and I love it. And then he shoots her in the end, and Warner tries to save her, which I think is really great. I really did like this book, and the things I would change was maybe make it a little less monologue and make Juliet a little more mopey, because I feel like for the most of the book she was just moping, and even though she was trying to find her place in the world, she wasn't really doing anything, and Kenji was just telling her over and over like, you need to, I'm giving you so many chances and you're not doing anything with them. So I feel like if maybe halfway through the book Juliet really changed, instead of towards the end she tried to change a little more, then I would like that. What I like about this book, and also kind of hate about the book, is that the first book is really about Juliet. Like Juliet is the main central kind of person, because like Warner wants her, Adam wants her, they're trying to get away, she's trying to figure out who she is, and then now book 2 we have a motive, we have a goal, and that is to take down Warner and to take down Anderson and to have this rebellion happen. And I felt like that was like pushed a little bit, but Juliet wasn't accepting it, and so it really caused this kind of barrier, I feel like, between what the main character wanted and what the main goal of the book was. I just feel like there was just a little issue going on there. I'm excited to see what the third book has, Ignite Me. I do have it. I just haven't read it yet. I hopefully I will be getting to it this year, 2018. But so far, just kind of within my plans so far, I don't have any, and I've only really made plans for kind of half of the year, so till June I kind of have a loose kind of what I want to do with the year, reading wise, video wise, not really, but that's kind of just what's going on. So Ignite Me definitely will be reading towards maybe the middle end of the year, which, you know, I'm okay with. I believe the 4th book in the Shatter Me series is going to be coming out this year, so I guess I gotta maybe plan when I read Ignite Me around that time. But yeah, I guess that's my review for Shatter Me by Tahara Mafi. The book is right here. I know this book was, I know this review was a lot more kind of analytical about how everything was written and how things like effect and consequence type thing, but that's just how I really feel about the story. When I read Shatter Me, even though I love the story, I really look at it with a critical eye, more of a writing eye than I do kind of a reader eye. But I do love Juliet and Adam and Warner. I love the story. I love how it just feels like it's expanding, in a sense that we are now kind of like, we were in Omega Point, and then we're going out of Omega Point and we're going into sector, what is it, 45, and then we're going into the restricted areas. So like her world is expanding and we're seeing it expand, but I feel like this book was a lot more like internal monologue, and that's why I think I'm looking at it more with a critical eye than I am kind of a reader eye. If you liked it, and if you like this review, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure to comment down below if you read Unravel Me and what you thought about it, or anything like that. If you have any suggestions, I don't know, just comment down below. Make sure to subscribe and ring that bell down there as well. I don't know why I put a thumbs up for subscribe, but make sure to subscribe. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. I will see you in the next video. Goodbye!